Day 16 of the World Cup is complete. We've gone through 2 more knockout games, and again, no surprises here, even though we always close one with Japan versus Croatia. We'll talk about that first. Japan losing to Croatia 3-1 on a penalty shootout after drawing 1 or after extra time, and heartbreak for Japan. They put so much effort into this tournament, so much effort into this game, they provided so much entertainment in this tournament, and to go out with some of the worst penalties you would ever see is a shame. But we'll talk about the game. Croatia, first half they were quite bad. Like, they were really bad. Like, Modric and Kovacic really didn't show up in the first half. Japan's energy and work rate all over the park really took to them, and it took them a while to get into the game. And that usually happens with Modric and Kovacic and Brozovic. They're not the most physically outstanding players. It does take them a while to grow into games, and their technical qualities does usually take over, and it did at the end of this game. They had the momentum going into the end of the game, but start of the game they really struggled. Japan played really well. Croatia were getting to good opportunities, but their quality at the final product at the end was really bad. Petkovic, Kramaric, really bad quality in the final third, and they got punished at 43rd minute. Japan took 1-0 lead to go into half time. Really good finish, reaction, a bit lucky obviously the way it fell for him, but good finish by Maeda. Finally got his goal. But yeah, and then you're thinking, if you're obviously neutral like me, you're thinking, I hope Japan don't just sit back. They played so well going at Croatia, and with the bundles of energy all over the pitch, hopefully they don't just sit back and allow Modric and Kovacic just to dictate the game, take the game to them. And they started out like that, but then they conceded through Perisic in the 55th minute, and then slowly but surely Croatia started just taking over the game, and the subs, which have been famous for Japan over this tournament, they had no effect on the game at all. They were really bad substitutions. Well, not bad substitutions, just the players performing on coming off the bench weren't good. Sakai, Mitoma, Minamino, Asano, they had good moments during the game, but they really lacked quality, which they kind of shown during this tournament. And yeah, so yeah, ending the game, Croatia finishing on top, and then extra time, Croatia finishing off top as well. Bold decision by the manager to take Modric, Kovacic and Perisic out before the penalty shootout. Very bold. You've got to have something about you to do that, but yeah, it didn't matter because Japan took some of the worst penalties you'd ever see. None of the penalties had accuracy to it. None of the penalties had any power to it. And you can't even blame tired legs for some of them, because the first 3 players that took it, I know Asano scored, but it still wasn't a good penalty. The first 3 players were substitutes. Yoshida, you can understand, you're a centre-back, he's mid to late 30s, he's just played 120 minutes against Croatia. You'd understand that, but the other players were really bad, really poor. It looked like they just didn't practice them. But bad technique on them all, there's nothing to them, but you've got to give credit to Livakovic. He read the penalties, he went the right way. And yeah, he got Croatia the win, sending them through to the quarter-final. You know, they're the kings of penalty shootouts, aren't they? They're the kings of just dragging out games and just winning them by these close margins. It's how they do things. I'm sure they wouldn't like to do it all like that all the time, but they're used to it by now. Got to feel for Japan though, they put so much effort into this tournament, and you can see that they're getting more quality in their side. There's so much quality and potential in some of these players. You're starting to see more Japanese players in the big leagues, Bundesliga and Premier League primarily, but it'll be interesting to see what they can do going forward, because they have a load of technical quality and they work hard as well. That's something that you realise straight away, is how hard they work and how hard they work as a team as well. But yeah, Croatia going through. They didn't play that well. It wasn't really that impressive. They are a team that does more like to counter or go into games, and when games are on the balance, their quality does show. But facing a Brazil side, it's going to be a completely different story. We'll talk about Brazil now. absolutely blew away South Korea in the first half, 4-0 after 36 minutes, and they just didn't even have to try in the second half. In the second half they weren't good at all, but it didn't matter. South Korea absolutely burned in the first half, and deservedly so. It was the most bold strategy you'd ever see. They went 4-2-4 man-to-man press on Brazil. What? Paulo Bento, the manager, I don't know what he was thinking before this game. I seriously don't. I don't know what he could have thought that thought. I know what will surprise him, and I know what we'll do the whole game is go man-to-man press on Brazil with the quality that we have compared to their quality. Yeah, you can go man-to-man press if you're Brazil and South Korea, and even then, there's a reason man-to-man press doesn't usually work. Just mental, absolute mental. So yeah, Brazil, one ball over the top, and they were through every single time. They would just have a 3-on-3 at any point, a 4-on-4 at any point. It was just ridiculous, wasn't it? And yeah, Vinicius Junior opened the scoring, then Neymar got the penalty. Richarlison got his goal. That was probably the best goal of the lot. Great touch by Thiago Silva. Spaghetti goals got that was a really nice goal. Richarlison could have made it 5 in the first half. But yeah, Brazil absolutely blew them away. Yes, they were very impressive, and yes, you can also say South Korea gave it to them, but they had to do it. You know, you sometimes could have seen teams absolutely struggle with this. You could have seen, South Korea have caused them problems. It could have been the other way around. South Korea have caused them problems. They went man to man. They didn't have to deal with it. They kept trying to play out back in the 2-0 down after 10 minutes. It could have gone that way, but it didn't. Brazil were composed, knew what they were doing, and South Korea never changed their habits. They were 2-0 down after 13 minutes and kept on trying it. It just didn't make any sense. Like, you're South Korea, you sit in the low block or you sit in the mid block and you hope. That's all you got really against Brazil. They thought all or nothing on going all out attack in the round of 16 of a World Cup. It's absolutely bonkers. I respect it. Like, I do respect it. They got their goal at the end. I mean, it was a good goal, but a deflection, but good goal. You know, Brazil kind of stopped trying by then. They really, literally, at the end of the first half, they stopped trying and they didn't care anymore. And fair enough to them, you got to save your legs. They got a big game coming up against Croatia. They've got more games hopefully to come for them. Got to save your legs. And yeah, there was no point of trying. They even brought on a sub goalkeeper. That's how little they tried. It's just so bonkers that they went 4-2-4 man-to-man press and thought it would work. I mean, the one disappointing thing about me for South Korea this World Cup has been Heung-min Son. Really, really bad World Cup. His contribution this World Cup was the assist for the Hungary Chan goal to send them through to the knockouts, but that's his only thing in 4 games. You expect South Korea's best player to score that, to perform better. And kind of like Poland, you just got to utilise him a bit more. Maybe he was marked out of the game in some games, which was good strategy by the other team, obviously, but he needed to do a bit more. And he's not like Lewandowski, where he isn't link-up playing, can't come. He can do that as well. He just didn't. And he was just anonymous in a lot of these games and didn't have effect in any of them, really. Probably wasn't in South Korea's best few players, really, this tournament, which is surprising to say. Yeah, Brazil facing Croatia, and let's talk about that. Good game. Neither side, Brazil are inherently attacking side, but again, like most of these teams in this tournament, they are, defensive first teams, and they have been turned into that, which is better for tournament football. You don't want to repeat what happened in 2014 against Germany. If you set up not to lose, and you don't allow many goals, then you're always going to be within a shout of winning the game. But yeah, Croatia versus Brazil. Brazil will probably win that game. But Croatia, their midfield can turn up at times. I'd like to see probably Bruno Guimaraes part of Casemiro in that midfield. So Paqueta maybe just with a bit more defensive stability against, Modric, Brozovic, and Kovacic. But yeah, Croatia, they can turn up against any team in the world with that midfield. They can turn games around in that midfield, and they're not easy to play against. But Brazil created quite a few. Not Brazil, Belgium created quite a few chances against them. Morocco had a bit of success against them. We'll see. Brazil looked really good in that first half, and they just stopped trying, and they still won 4-1. So that's very impressive. And they got quality in that front line, give them any bit of space, and they punished it. And they showed that again. But I don't think Croatia will be giving them the space South Korea gave them today. I really don't think so. But the only thing that Croatia don't have is that forward line where he'll get you the goal that you need. And against Thiago Silva, Marquinhos, Militao, Danilo, Casemiro, Alisson, it's going to be very difficult for Croatia to really create. I don't think it would be difficult to create chances with Modric, Kovacic. You'll be able to get in the positions, but that final third, like we saw against Japan, they had a lot of space against Japan in some aspects of the game. They weren't able to do anything. So I think Brazil's defence and Croatia's lack of potent attackers will probably see Brazil win this game. But it'll be a great watch, and with a semi-final line, it's always good when the stakes are high. But yeah, let's talk about the games tomorrow. Morocco, Spain. Morocco have looked good defensively at times this tournament. They've shown that they can defend well. Spain have shown. They showed in the first game against Costa Rica they are very good. They played very well in the first half against Germany. I think against Japan they kind of just stopped playing and realised it's probably better for us to finish second. And yeah, I think Spain will win. I think they'll pass Morocco to death, but Morocco do have the quality to defend well. They've got Amrabat in midfield. They've got Ziyech and Ziyech both on attack. Mazzara and Hakimi at wing back side. Amrabat and Bono at defence. It's just that the midfield alongside Amrabat is not very good, and I think that's where the game's going to be won. With Pedro and Gavi, they're so good. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think it'll be like a 1-0 or 0-0 going to extra time and Spain nick it. I don't think it'll be a high score in the game. I think it'll be very low scoring. What should be 4-3 or something like that, something crazy. But I think it'll be a low scoring game, and it'll be interesting to see with Morocco likely to sit back. Does Enrique go for the false 9? Or does he go for Morata? They've looked better. They've scored more goals with Morata, but I don't think they played better with Morata. Against Germany, he came on, he scored the goal, but they played a lot worse with him. The same against Japan. So it'll be interesting if it's Morata or if Asensio at the false 9. And then Portugal, Switzerland. What does he start Ronaldo? They had reports of Santos and Ronaldo a bit falling out off Ronaldo going off. Switzerland are a good side defensively. As a team, they work well together. The midfielders with Xhaka, Sal and Ford work very well together. High energy, good ball playing skills. It's a team that works well together, and Portugal haven't been prolific this tournament. They lost to South Korea. They struggled a bit against Ghana, Uruguay. That the goals scored was a cross and arguably not a penalty. So again, Portugal, they have a lot of good players. They just haven't worked that well together again in this tournament. And you're just waiting for the tournament where it all clicks. And could this be the game where it starts clicking, or is it the game where Switzerland, have that stinginess against them? They did it to France in the Euros. Do they just stinge it out? Portugal, rush things at time, and with Embolo and Shaqiri and Vargas on the counter, are they able to do it? It'd be a very interesting game. I think Switzerland will probably win that game. Not probably. I think it'll be a close game. I think Switzerland might just edge it. Yeah, that's my bold prediction for tomorrow at least. But yeah, thanks for watching. Leave your likes and comments and stuff like that, and see you tomorrow. Bye.